This is the deposition of Art McCracken in the matter of State of Washington versus LLR Inc. Case number 192023252 SEA in the State of Washington, King County Superior Court. It was noticed by plaintiff. The time is approximately 9:00 a.m. on the March 6, 2020, and we are convening at 2040 Main Street, Suite 250, Irvine, California 92614. My name is Kirill Davidov from Boyle Real-Time Reporting LLC, located at 1325 4th Avenue, Suite 1840 in Seattle, Washington 98101. Will counsel and all present please identify themselves for the record?
Brina Roos for the State of Washington, and I'm joined by the phone. I'm joined on the phone by my colleagues Joe Kanata and Tiffany Lee.
William Floratus, Loan Divine, on behalf of the defendants.
Court reporter may now swear in the witness.
You do solemnly state under penalty of perjury that the evidence you shall give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name for the record?
Arthur Lynn McCracken.
And have you ever been deposed before?
I have.
Okay. How many times have you been deposed?
A couple of times.
A couple of times?
Yeah.
Okay, you may remember, but I'll remind you of sort of the rules of a deposition. I'm here today to ask you some questions relating to a case brought by the State of Washington against LuLaRoe and various other defendants. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a court reporter here today who's recording your testimony. We also have a videographer who's recording your testimony. There are a few things that are important for the court reporter to be able to get an accurate transcript. First, we should try not to talk over each other. So I'll try to wait until you're done answering a question before I start a new question. If you could wait till I'm done asking a question before you answer it, that way we'll be able to get a clear transcript. Please make sure your answers are audible. Even though we have a videographer, the court reporter can't record a shake of the head or a nod of a head or a gesture. Please let me know if you don't understand any of my questions. I'll be happy to rephrase it. If you don't ask me to rephrase it, I'm going to assume that you understand. Does that all sound fair?
Yes.
Okay. At any point, if we need to take a break, we're happy to take a break. I'll try to take a break every hour or so, but if you need a break sooner than that, just let me know. If I have a question posed, I'll ask that you answer the question unless there's an issue of privilege that comes up that you need to talk to counsel about.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you understand you're under oath today?
Yes.
Do you know of any reason you can't give complete and accurate testimony today?
No.
Are you currently taking any medications or anything that would impair your ability to give truthful testimony?
No.
Okay. And what did you do to prepare for today's deposition?
Other than just meeting with our in-house counsel and reviewing some of the documents that they felt may be of interest in today's deposition. That was it.
Okay. And I don't want to ask you about any questions with counsel specifically, but when you refer to in-house counsel, are you referring to Mr. Floratos?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you said you reviewed documents. What documents did you review?
I don't recall all of them. They're documents that would be primarily emails that have been already addressed or brought to the deposition in previous respondents.
So previous deposition exhibits?
Yeah.
Did you review any videos?
No.
Did you review any deposition transcripts?
The only transcript that I had visibility on was the transcript of Mr. Transtrom.
That's Terrell Transtrom?
Yes.
And that was the transcript from this case?
Yes.
Other than those emails and the deposition transcript, did you review anything else?
No.
And other than Mr. Floratos, did you talk about today's deposition with anyone?
No, the only other person that was with Mr. Floratos was Lena, And I don't know Lena's last name. She's counsel on the case as well.
Liana?
Liana, yeah,
Okay.
with, I think it's Snell and Wilmer or Tan, I don't remember.
Okay. So did you speak with about today's deposition with anyone from LuLaRoe?
No.
Okay. And does either Mr. Florados or Ms. Bash, Liana Bash, represent you personally?
No.
Okay. You said you had given prior testimony in depositions before, a couple of times, you said? I think.
Yes.
Do you recall the cases that you were deposed in?
I do.
What cases were those?
One case was a workers' comp case where I was asked to provide a witness deposition. And the other case was an employee case where I was asked to give a witness deposition as well in an employment case in Idaho.
So the workers' comp case, did that involve LuLaRoe?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know who the parties were?
I don't remember.
Okay. And the employee case that you mentioned in Idaho, did that involve LuLaRoe?
No.
Okay. Any other times you've been deposed?
No.
About how long ago was the deposition in the workers' comp case?
It seems like it was probably about a year ago. I don't recall exact dates.
You're currently employed at LuLaRoe, correct?
Yes.
And what's your title?
Chief Strategy Officer.
And what do you do as Chief Strategy Officer?
I would say that some of the primary responsibilities are reviewing individual department quarterly, I guess they'd be tactical plans of project management, project execution. I meet with the executive team members, making sure that they're getting along well and collaborating with each other. Sometimes relied upon to provide coaching for different team members as they interface with each other and maybe challenges that they're having with their own performance. And that's probably the scope of that position. Thank you.
Handed what's been marked as 264.
Yeah.
Do you recognize this document?
I don't.
Just for the record, it's a printout from LinkedIn for Art McCracken, CHPC. Is that you at the top?
Yes, that is
Okay.
me.
Have you put together a LinkedIn profile for yourself?
I have.
Okay. So does this appear to be your LinkedIn profile?
Let me take a look at it
Sure.
and make sure that this is it. Okay, I've reviewed the document.
Okay. Looking at the second page, your education, it lists Idaho State University at BBS in Corporate Financial Management. Is that accurate?
Yes.
What year did you receive that degree?
I don't recall. It would have been sometime around the end of the 90s. I think it was right around 2000.
And then it lists that you were the Chief Strategy Officer for Service Quest in Idaho Falls from September 2013 to July 2014. Just briefly, can you describe what you did for Service Quest?
Sure. That title was probably more of a name identification. I was not employed by the company. I was an independent contractor, hired or contracted, I guess I should say, to provide assessment and training to clients for the company Service Quest. They would do advising for startup companies, and I would get asked on some of those startup, I believe that they were referred to as a fast start boot camp type style, where clients would come in for a few days, and I'd be asked to come in and ask questions, challenge thinking, look at what maybe their marketing and product strategies were, and just to provide a secondary set of eyes and voice for the customer and evaluate maybe what they're trying to bring to market. And so much of the work that I did there was subcontracted work in a myriad of different client engagements.
One of those clients when you were there was LuLaRoe, correct?
Yes.
Okay. About how many other clients did you work with during the time that you were at Service Quest?
I don't know how many individual clients I worked with. It was probably more than 50, but I wouldn't know an exact number on that.
Looking back at Exhibit 264, your experience, it says you were the founder and CEO of Snake River Consulting from January 2001 to the present.
Yeah.
Is that still accurate?
Yes.
Okay. And what does Snake River Consulting do?
Quite a few different things, primarily coaching and consulting for business owners and entrepreneurs, and there will be some project work if somebody has a marketing deck that they're wanting reviewed, or if they've got employee challenges that they're dealing with. Like I say, anything from coaching and broad scope advisory services to project related consulting.
Are there others who work with you at Snake River Consulting?
No, no.
Do you currently have any clients through Snake River Consulting?
Yes.
And the next one, it says Synapse Point Consulting. You're also the founder and CEO of that?
Yes.
Okay. What does Synapse Point Consulting do?
Synapse Point is also a consultancy firm, but it's really more of I guess it'd be a hybrid of Snake River, in that it focuses primarily on experiential learning retreats for teams, team dynamic, team development, alignment between owners and team on specific initiatives for growth. And so it's a little bit more focused on the team aspect.
Does anyone work with you at Synapse Point Consulting?
No.
Okay. Do you currently have clients?
No.
Okay.
No.
When was the last time you did work for a client through Synapse Point Consulting?
I don't recall.
Have you ever done work for LuLaRoe through Snake River Consulting?
Yes.
And what about through Synapse Point Consulting?
No.
And looking briefly at your LinkedIn profile, under LuLaRoe, you have 3 different titles: Chief Strategy Officer, and then also Chief Performance Officer and Chief Communications Officer. Do you currently hold the Chief Performance Officer title as well?
I wouldn't say by official title. It's been more of an adopted responsibility, but the current title, I haven't updated this. Current title is Chief Strategy Officer.
Okay. And up until June of 2019, your title was Chief Communications Officer?
Only from the period of October 2017 through June.
So it looks, looking at your resume, it looks like you moved, essentially you changed titles around May or June of 2019 from Chief Communications Officer to Chief Strategy Officer, is that right?
Yes.
What caused that change?
That was by request of our co-founder and CEO, Mark Stidham.
Did you discuss that change with Mark?
Yes.
And then looking at the time when you were with LuLaRoe, but before you became Chief Communications Officer, then you said Chief Performance Officer was a little bit more of an adopted responsibility. Did you have a title before that?
No, I think there was a season where it's been kind of a running joke, I guess, if you will, that I don't think people internally have ever really understood what to call me at a different time because it's hopped around so much. But early on I was asked to take an operational role, and that was for a few months that I was maybe given that label or title. But performance officer was another title that I was known as, and I think that title was probably just because of the work that I was doing with some of the team members, helping them perform at their highest capability.
Before you
Would
became...
you mind if I ask him to turn the heat down in here?
That's okay. We can go off the record.
On the record at 9:24 a.m.